Okay, so after applying 3, 4, 22, we derived the form bhutva as well as the alternate form bhavam by using the affixes ktva and namul respectively. Now to convey the meaning of abhikshnyam or repetition of action, this word bhutva or bhavam has to be repeated, and for that we need the sutram 814, which you're going to take up now. 814 says nitya vipsayoho. Look at the number of the sutram 814. It falls in the adhikaraha of sarvasya dve, which starts from 811. Sarvasya dve means that the entire word form and not just a part of it is to be repeated or duplicated. This adhikara of sarvasya dve runs from 811 down to 8115. We are now considering 814, which falls in this adhikara of sarvasya dve. Okay, the vritti of 814 says abhikshne vipsayancha dyotye padasya dvitvam syat, which means that to express repetition of action or pervasion of a thing by a property or action, the entire word form, the entire padam is duplicated. Of course, we know what padam means by 1414, sup tingantam padam. A term ending in a sup or a ting affix gets the designation of padam, gets the padasanya. Let us first take the case of abhikshnyam. There is a note here which says that abhikshnyam tinganteshva vyaya sanyaka kridanteshu cha, which means tinganteshu avyaya sanyaka kridanteshu cha. So abhikshnyam, or repetition of action, continuous repetition, can only apply to words ending in ting affixes as well as words ending in krit affixes having the designation of avyayam. Let us first take the case where a tingantam padam denotes abhikshnyam. Simple example here is jalpati jalpati, which means that someone prattles repeatedly. So someone continuously prattles. So here the tingantam padam jalpati, in order to convey the sense of abhikshnyam, it has to be repeated. So we say jalpati jalpati and not just jalpati one time, but jalpati jalpati. We have to say it twice. Now let us consider the case where abhikshnyam is expressed by a kridantam padam having the avyaya sanya. So avyaya sanyaka kridanteshu. This is the second case. The first one was tinganteshu. Okay, so now we continue the example which we started from 3.4.22, where we derived the form bhutva and bhavam. We're looking at the Bhagavad Gita verse 19 from chapter 8, bhutva bhutva praliyate. So by this sutram 814, that form bhutva is repeated or duplicated because repetition of action is to be expressed. Having come into being again and again, the multitude of beings dissolves. Similarly, if we were to use the affix namul, then the form would be bhavam bhavam praliyate, which of course after applying monuswaraha 8.3.23 becomes bhavam bhavam praliyate. Remember that the affix namul or ktva is capable of expressing repetition of action only after duplication. So 814 has to be applied in order for the affix namul or ktva to express abhikshnyam. So just saying bhutva or bhavam only one time cannot express the sense of abhikshnyam, meaning continuous repetition. Okay, let us now consider the case of vipsa, because remember the sutram 814 applies in the case of abhikshne vipsayancha dyotye, to express repetition of action or pervasion of a thing by a property or action. So what is this pervasion of a thing by a property or action? The word vipsa itself is derived as vyaptum ichha vipsa. Recall the rules 7.4.55 abnyapyardham eat and 7.4.58 atra lopo bhyasasya. These two rules are used to derive the sananta dhatu vipsa, and then of course we add the affix a by a pratyayat 3.3.102, and finally we add the affix sta by 4.1.4 ajadyata sta to create the feminine noun vipsa, which means vyaptum ichha, the desire to pervade. Now one comment here is that supsu vipsa, that vipsa pervasion of a thing by a property or action can only apply to words ending in sup affixes. Example here is gramo gramo ramaniyaha. So village after village, which means every village is delightful. So the property of delightfulness, it pervades every village. This is what is meant by pervasion by a property. So village after village is delightful. The property of delightfulness pervades every village. Now let us take an example of pervasion by an action. Vruksham vruksham sinchati, which means someone waters tree after tree, which means someone waters every tree. So the action of watering pervades tree after tree, it pervades every tree. So these are examples of the application of Sutram 814 in the case of Vipsayam. And please remember that Vipsa, pervasion of a thing by a property or action, can only apply to words ending in sup affixes.